evening. I am Rodney Lowe, the proud new president of the Marshall County branch of the NAACP. And I want to take this time to welcome you to part 2 of our Marshall County branch 2019 Meet the Candidates Q&A session. Part 2, tonight we'll be hosting all candidates running for supervisor positions from District 1 through 5. And at this time, I want to take the time now to thank all you gentlemen for coming out. And I'm going to bring up Attorney Biles, which will be introducing our distinguished moderator and questionnaire for tonight. But before I do that, I want to remind our studio audience to please put your phones, and candidates, put your phones on silent or airplane mode. And at this time, Attorney Biles will be coming forward.
Good evening. Thank you, President Lowe. Welcome to everybody that's looking in tonight for our second candidate forum. And thank you, candidates, for taking time to come so that the public can meet you. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our moderator for tonight, Dr. Tamla Boyd Shaw. Dr. Shaw is an education advocate who believes teaching effectiveness is the great equalizer to providing students the basic civil right of a quality public school education. Her roles from successful teacher and principal to consultant and founding executive director of former Tech Plus, Memphis, and currently Mississippi Delta academics has given her great pleasure and to our community a great service. Dr. Shaw's work focuses on re-imaging learning for students in rural areas to improve the number of college-going and college-graduating students through the proposed launch of LaFleur Legacy Academy in the Mississippi Delta. She is a member of various service organizations, including the Mississippi Roses chapter of the Links Incorporated. And on behalf of the Links Incorporated Mississippi Roses chapter, I introduce to you the moderator for tonight, Dr. Tamla Boyd Shaw.
Thank you, Judge Byers, for that really nice introduction. I do appreciate that. Good evening, and welcome to tonight's political forum. I am, as noted, Dr. Tamla Boyd Shaw, your moderator for the evening. Before we begin tonight, I would like to acknowledge and thank the sponsors of tonight's event: the Mississippi Roses chapter of the Links Incorporated and the Marshall County local branch of the NAACP. Great appreciation is also given to Dr. David Beckley, President of Rust College, Dr. Adebayo Moyo, and the Mass Communications Department at Rust College, cable channel RCTV2, and radio station WURC Radio 88.2. Tonight's political candidates are vying for the position of Marshall County Board of Supervisors. As with the other 81 counties in Mississippi, the Marshall County government is headed by an elected 5-member Board of Supervisors. Each county is divided into 5 districts, and each district elects a supervisor who serves a 4-year term. While each supervisor is elected from their district, Marshall County is a unit county, and each supervisor is expected to govern the county. Supervisors, who by law are part-time officials, are the chief policy and administrative body of county government. One of their main duties is to approve county spending through an annual budget and tax county residents to pay for that spending. Supervisors can also borrow money in the name of the county. They also can pass ordinances and regulations. A tough job indeed. Tonight, for the position of supervisor, the candidates we have with us are from District 1, all Democrats, Mr. Gaston Red Glover, Mr. Andre C. Jones, Mr. Charles Terry Sr., incumbent, Mr. Danny Warren. From District 2, all Democrats, Mr. Glenn Payne. Also, Mr. John I. Selden Sr. From District 4, Mr. Marvin Lucas, Mr. George Zinn III, incumbent. And it looks like we don't have any candidates here tonight from District 3 or District 5, but we will continue with our debate with those candidates who are present. In order that we may hear from all of our candidates, we respectfully and adamantly ask our candidates to please remain within the time frame, respect the voice of your opponent, and clearly answer each question. Candidates, to aid in the governance of our time, I will hold up this yellow card indicating you have 30 seconds to wrap up your response. To our audience, we thank you for being here tonight, and we do require your full attention and ask that you please refrain from any positive or negative outbursts, cheers, or acts of verbal response. This forum is an opportunity to hear from the candidates and the candidates only. Each candidate tonight will have 2 minutes to share an opening statement to share their platform. Except for an incumbent, each candidate will speak in alphabetical order. The incumbent will speak last. We will begin with candidates in District 1. So starting with District 1, we will now begin our opening statements. Hearing first from Mr. Gaston Red Glover. Mr. Glover is not with us tonight. Well, we will move on to candidate Andre C. Jones.
Greetings, everyone. First, I would like to thank Mississippi Roses, Marshall County Branch, NAACP, and the Rush College Mass Communication Team, for sponsoring this event. My name is Andre Jones, and I'm a candidate for Marshall County Supervisor of District 1. And everyone that knows me know that I love helping people. And I do that directly, at my place of employment as an educator at Holly Springs High School. And I've impacted the lives of hundreds of students, and hundreds of parents have entrusted me with their kids. And this, just like with this position of supervisor, it's a position of public trust. And you must have the trust of your citizens in order for you to represent them. And I'm running on the representation that the people deserve, because as I said, we are a servant to the people. And some of the things that I'm running on quality infrastructure, properly maintaining the roads in all of District 1, not just around election time. And I also want to create a partnership between the city and the county to better improve infrastructure. Also government for better results, being transparent, even, having the board minutes available online so that the people are informed about what's going on. And I want to serve and represent the community with integrity. And as I said, I do that directly through my employment. And lastly, just want to add, on August 6th, the representation you deserve, vote Andre C. Jones as your next supervisor of District 1.
Thank you, Candidate Jones. We will now hear opening statement from candidate Danny Warren.
Yes, I'd like to bring greeting from Danny Warren. I'd like to thank everyone for inviting me here. Russ and the radio station for inviting me. Most of all, I guess, like to just put out that I've been volunteering here in Holly Springs, around the schools, the district. Everyone know me. I've been here for a while, I guess, volunteering time. Most of part of this is just trying to get the kids and everyone into a little bit more. But most of all, I guess, trying to help with the schools and doing what I can as a part of I guess, being in District 1. Most of all, I'd like to just thank everyone. I'm just a little nervous for the night.
Thank you, Candidate Warren. And now we will hear from incumbent candidate Charles Terry Sr.
First, I'd like to give honor and praise to our God, our Father, and to Russ College and all of its affiliates that helped to put this on, to the Mississippi chapter of Roses, to the NAACP. I want to say thank you for inviting me to this forum and have an opportunity to share with the citizens of Marshall County my intent as continue to work for Marshall County. To the audience, both live audience and the audience on radio or television, I say good evening to you. My name is Charles Terry, and I am your supervisor for District 1. I graduated from W.T. Sims High School in 1969. I attended Northwest Junior College. I want to talk to you for just a second or two about longevity, commitment, and dedication. I've been married to my lovely wife, Willa Terry, for 48 years. We have 2 children, Tanya and Chuck Terry, and 1 granddaughter, Kennedy Terry, the giant pumpkin in my patch. I've retired from telecommunication industry after working for 35.5 years. And working on that job, you had to have good character and good integrity because of the location and situations that you may be working in. I have had experience in a couple of small businesses. I have coached youth, baseball, basketball, and softball. And one of the philosophies that I tried to instill in the children as I was coaching them, I couldn't teach them how to win, but what I tried to do was teach them the fundamentals. And once you learn the fundamentals, then winning would take care of itself. I am currently serving on a number of civic and private boards. I am a member of Anderson Chapel CME Church. I am a trustee there as well as a Sunday school teacher, and I serve on other church ministries as well. I'm also a member of Power Chapel Lodge number 339, and I am currently serving as supervisor for District 1. Each of the accomplishments that I listed above
Please wrap up, Candidate Terry.
requires commitment, dedication, and dedication. To succeed in any endeavor, you have to make a commitment and be dedicated to be successful.
Thank you, Candidate Terry. We will move on to District 2 for opening statements. We will note that the incumbent, Mr. Eddie Dixon, is not with us tonight, so we will start with candidate Glenn Payne.
Hello, everyone, and the sound of my voice. My name is Glenn Payne, and I am a candidate for supervisor in District 2. I know that my time is limited, so I'll give you a little bit of information on the background about myself. I'm married and have 2 wonderful children and former military. I also spend time with the National Guard and Marines and the Army Reserve. I have my education-wise, I have a bachelor's degree in biblical arts and a master's degree in leadership training. I'm also a local preacher at St. Paul's CME Church located in beautiful downtown Lake Center, Mississippi, where my pastor is the good Reverend Willie Ward. Now, about running for office, my thoughts about running for office is I want to see changes made in Marshall County, and I want to see things that changing from what they used to be as a child. And I grew up in this county, and I have visions for this county. I wish to see that the streets get improved and widened from horse and buggy streets, and we are into 4 lanes now, and we just have to move with the rest of the country. I'd like to have theaters where our children and myself too would not like to have to leave this county to go see a movie. I'm a family man. I'd like to have recreation for family, parks and so forth, bowling alleys. This is a vision that I have for Marshall County, and I can envision these things happening if we put forth the effort and work together to make things happen. We are a county of approximately 35,000 people, and with 35,000 people, I know that we can do it. And in closing, I'd like to thank the local NAACP and Russ College, but first of all, I'll give grace to my mighty God for allowing me to come before you. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Payne. We will now hear from candidate John Selden Sr.
Good. Thank you for inviting me as well. My platform basically is simple. My first vision is to get in the school system and work as hard as we possibly can, because as of right now, school system in my district is falling rapidly. And I want to work hard to focus on that, not alone the schools, but relationships with the peoples in the area, get back the trust that we once had,
and work with everybody, not just work for a select few, do more for one than the other, level the playing field and work for everyone as an elected official. I'm also active in the community, well-known in the whole community, born and raised in that community up north Mississippi, Mount Pleasant area, District 2 area. I'm a father of 5, married, and church. I go to church in Ashland, which would be New Life Christian Center under the leadership of Ronnie Franklin. So I am a people person. I also like to get in this position to make a difference and make a change and bring a lot of the amenities to the area as well that we don't have. The industries and everything is good. That's bringing about change, but we still got more to do, and I propose to bring it in, make those changes. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Selden. Again, we do not have candidates from District 3 with us tonight, so we will move right into our candidates from District 4. So we will begin with candidate Marvin Lucas.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you for inviting me to be here tonight, and I want to thank God for this privilege and opportunity. My name is Marvin Lucas. I'm a lifelong resident of Marshall County, District 4. My parents was the late Percy and Velma Lucas. I bring to the table 40 years of supervisory management skills, along with 15 years of leadership skills from the military and 5 years of leadership skills as being a pastor. I want to bring to the table proven effectiveness and efficient leadership. Proactive, I want to take District 4 from being reactive to proactive, and I do this with a passion and with the welfare of all people in mind. My plans are to focus on education, competitive wages for teachers, and affordable health care for everyone. I work hard to push economic growth in District 4, which is South Mississippi, South Marshall County, and as well as Central Marshall County. I will work hard to provide benefits for the seniors and improve roads and bridges. Some of the skills that I bring to the table from my leadership experiences is conflict resolution, root cause analysis, problem solving, troubleshooting, team building, effective and efficient communication. I want to take Marshall County from being good to better to best. So I ask for your vote on August the 6th to help me and the citizens of District 4 take Marshall County District 4 to the next level. Thank you.
Thank you so much, candidate Lucas. We will now hear from incumbent candidate George Zien.
Let me just say good evening to everyone that's present here right now. Also, let me just say thank you, if I could, to Rush College, first of all, and all of the sponsors of this program. I think it's a great occasion, just as you explained. Let me just mention a little bit about myself. I am born and raised right here in Marshall County. Went to school right here in Marshall County. Married Robbie Zien, who is a retired teacher, and we have 3 lovely children. I went to school also at Northwest, and from Northwest I've gone to at least 3 different advanced or graduate schools. I also am a member of Strawberry Missionary Baptist Church, where I serve there as a deacon under the leadership of Pastor Frederick Fluker. I'm a businessman, have been in business for the extent of 25 years or more. My business experience prepared me to deal with the public life that I serve right now in this office. I'd like to just mention just a little bit about some things that I'm quite proud of. When I took this office some years ago, probably 15 years ago, you know, this county was, unemployment rate was probably somewhere around 10.4. And as years progress, I think one of my slogans when I ran was, "Give progress time." That was after the first year. Well, I'm proud of the progress that has happened here, because right now, we can calmly say that unemployment rate now is...
Please begin to wrap up, candidate Zinn.
Our unemployment rates right now is about 4.3%. I'm proud of that record, and I'm proud of the progress that Marshall County has made over the last 12 years.
Thank you, candidate Zinn. There we have it, our opening statements from our candidates who are present with us tonight. As we begin our debate, let it be known that the questions were submitted by members of the Mississippi Bar Association and were randomly selected and revised by Judge Shirley Byers and me, the only ones who've seen the final questions. We will now engage the candidates in a question and answer session. Candidates, please be reminded that you will have 2 minutes to respond after you're called on. Now, let the debate begin. Starting with question 1, and candidates, please know that I'll just randomly call on you for these questions in no particular order or no particular district. You each talked in your opening statement about your experiences, your qualifications. In thinking about those experiences and qualifications, what qualifications and/or experiences do you believe are most important for the position of supervisor, and how those qualifications and experiences make you the best candidate for the position? Please be specific. And we will start with you, candidate Selden for District 2.
Okay. Basically, I would have to say my people skills, my education, and the work ethic that I do is similar to being what a supervisor do every day. So my most strong point will be build community relationships, be honest with people, tell them the truth, and just follow those guidelines as laid out to individuals.
Thank you. Candidate Jones.
Yes, I would say, number one, as I mentioned in my opening statement, is trust. In order for you to be in a position as powerful as the Board of Supervisors, you have to have trust in the citizens of the district that you're representing. They got to be able to, trust you to make important decisions that directly impact them. So trust will be number one, and also, as I mentioned in my opening statement, transparency. We have to let our people know what's going on, because, as I said, the supervisor position is a position where you are serving the people. So I feel like the people should know what's going on. So being transparent with the people and open as possible is a very important quality as well. And as I said, I'm already in a position of public leadership by being an educator. So, with that being said, it's the same thing as the Board of Supervisors, so that's what I bring to the table.
Thank you. So far, we've heard about people skills, trust, leadership. Candidate Zinn, what would you add? Most important qualifications for this role and how your qualifications and experience match.
Well, I'm proud. I'm proud of the Christian upbringing that was instilled in me as a child growing up, and I think that helps me a lot. To be able to deal with people, and I think people see in me that I'm receptive and willing to work with and get along with most people.
Okay, thank you. Candidate Warren.
Yes. I think my strong point is being able to work in the community. I've been working in the community for a while, volunteer my time for the school, and just being able to work, being in through the industrial park and working for different companies. Sherman-Williams, 17 years working with Sherman-Williams, and 5 with Jay Strickland now. So I think it's know how the industry had to come in, what they need to do, and how to get people jobs. and how to support the community. Just being out in the community is a whole lot dealing with supervisors, because you got to have a way to people to trust you. And by me being out there 20-some odd years volunteering my time, I think the people in Holly Springs really trust me now. So that's the reason I'm trying to run for supervisor, just because people trust me, and I think I could be a good candidate and be a supervisor for District 1.
Thank you. Candidate Payne.
I would like to say that my biggest strength, I think it would be being committed to serving as supervisor, because once I'm committed to doing, I will stay with whatever I'm working on, and I will follow it through to the end. And I think people need someone that they can trust, who's willing to be able to go through and stand up and just really be upfront about what they were doing. That's pretty much the strongest point I see, in just being committed and being strong.
Okay, thank you. Candidate Terry.
Yes, I think that one of my strong points is that the experience that I received when I was working with the telephone company, and that was, well, working with communication. I worked with communication, but I also had to communicate with the people. And I think clear communication and understanding is one of the things that you have to have with your citizens or anyone that you are talking to. The experience that I received, as I said earlier, I was in a couple of small businesses. The experience that I had from budgeting and operating of those businesses, I think, would help in the budget and operation that will be utilized throughout the county. The experience that I bring as a incumbent is another thing that qualifies me for this position, because I've met people and I know how to talk to people. I know what it takes to get the job done, and I think that my record stands for itself. It is a proven record.
Thank you so much, Candidate Terry. And Candidate Lucas.
One of the strong points that I bring, I'm a result-oriented person. What I did at my job, I put in systems and processes, people systems as well as mechanical systems and processes. One of the things first thing I believe strongly in is a system called IEE, Inform, Educate, and Empower. And I believe that when people are educated, informed, you have a better chance of working with them, and they're working with you, and we can make better decisions. Also, the experience that I have, 40 years of supervisory and management on my job and leadership in the military and the church, gives me the ability to work across the aisle. It gives me the ability to work with different ethnic groups. I've got that ability to build teams and overcome conflicts and differences. And that's what we're going to need to be able to work and move Marshall County forward. I believe I can work with the city, the county, and the state in coming up with the best vision for our community to move it forward, and letting the community be a great part in helping us develop these visions, because the people are who we are serving, and I want to put that back where it's supposed to be and let the people know that I work for them, they don't work for me. Thank you.
Thank you. So our next question, we're going to build a little bit off of the information that you shared about people skills, about trust, about leadership, all of those different things, working well together with people and representing the people. So beginning with you, Candidate Terry, as you know, the Board of Supervisors is responsible for county ordinances. Is there a particular ordinance you're interested in sponsoring if reelected?
I can't say there's a particular ordinance I'm interested in sponsoring. I think what we need to do is take the ordinances that we have and give strict enforcement to them. It's time for us to renew our ordinances, and because we have changing times and changing conditions, and it's time to upgrade and update them. The ordinances that we have in place, I think, will suffice for everything or every issue or problem that we may have that may need to be updated for the situation and time that we're living in now.
Okay, thank you. As you are vying for the position in District 1, Candidate Warren, what are your thoughts?
Well, right now at the present time, I think that once I get in office, I'll pursue and further myself on the ordinance and getting in and helping and getting everything in order. But right now, by me just being a candidate, I just not real strong on what I'm supposed to do. I'm being honest. I'm new at the job and I'm a rookie right now, but you give me time and anything, I put my heart to it. I always work hard to do it. So if I get elected for supervisor, no matter what, we'll make a change. So
Okay. Thank you. Candidate Jones.
No ordinance in particular. I would just have to piggyback off what the incumbent said. We just strictly enforce the ones that we already have in place. And if it's, anything differently, once I assume the position of supervisor of District 1, if we need to take further measures and create new ordinances, that's something that we'll do.
Thank you. Well, let's go over to District 2. Candidate Selden, any new ordinances that you would consider sponsoring if elected?
Yes, I would like to basically sponsor an ordinance. I really believe in bringing awareness to the youth, the drugs program and stuff like that in the district. I would oppose to try and get something of that nature started, have some type of summer program for the kids, because as of right now, we have nothing in place for them to do, nowhere to go, no park, no recreation facilities or anything for them to do. And if you could reach one child out of 10, that's a start. So I would propose to try and do something in the area to bring the youth, violence, gang violence, drugs and all that, to kind of slowly work it down and work along with whatever policy that is already in place. We'll work with that, but if it's not working, then it's time to do something different. And so basically try to put whatever in place to meet today's standard and go forward.
Thank you. Candidate Payne?
At this point, there's no particular ordinance I actually have interest in, but I have a whole lot of ideas. But because when it comes to, excuse me, when it comes to ordinance, what I think of is such as ordinance, such as property lines, such as zoning, property, commercial, and residential, so forth. And that would be a group thing anyway. As a candidate, once elected, it is not something I actually challenged by myself, but actually use as a group to discuss. But other than that, I do have a lot of ideas about what the county needs and what the county doesn't need, and I'd like to implement them when given the opportunity. And once if elected, I would definitely take it through doing things that we need, that the community actually needs, things that's going to help people. That's what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in doing anything just for show. I want things to help the community.
Thank you, Candidate Payne. So let's hear from incumbent in District 4, Candidate Zen.
Well, let me mention something that I'm quite familiar with, quite aware of, that the county suffers from. The county is a thriving county. I feel like at this time the county's growing, but we have a problem, and that's a litter problem, and it's all over the county. And that litter, it actually drags the county down, and it makes it not live up to what it actually is. I would like to work with some kind of a litter ordinance. One, and most ordinances, they're not accepted well by all of the people. And sometimes it's not easy, to put in place different ordinances that regulate, people and things that they're doing. That's something that I think that the county desperately needs, and that's certainly something that I would be interested in trying to sponsor or work with to get something in place to control the serious littering problem that we have here in Marshall County.
Okay. Thank you so much, Candidate Zen. Candidate Lucas.
I too, like a lot of the other candidates, am not really familiar with all of the ordinances in Marshall County, but there are a couple of things that I personally would like to get involved with. I've been attending the Board of Supervisors meeting. I've attended the Board of Aldermen meetings and the school board meetings as well. And I would like to, first of all, work with the city of Holly Springs in getting a boys club here in Holly Springs that will serve the whole county. And the next thing I would like to do is work with the school board to redraw the district lines of schools, because we've got a school, only school in District 4. It's understaffed and it's also underattended. And the other schools, 2 other schools are over-attended. They are over capacity right now. And the way the district lines are drawn now for District 4 and Galena School, there are students that stay 5 minutes from the school, but they are in Potts Camp District. And I would like to work with whoever is necessary to work with to redraw those district lines so the people that's 15 and 20 minutes away from Galena School could attend Galena School, and work with getting Galena School back to the place it needs to be as far as the grades and everything else that it needs, because a lot of good students and people have come out of Galena School.
Thank you. Let's move on to a topic that's important to all of the citizens, their money. We want to hear from you candidates. What is your position regarding taxes? Candidate Warren.
Regarding tax. Well, we are gonna have to try to get land taxes and the taxes, everything understood and under control. We got to try to do better, I guess, presenting what we have. And right now, I'm just studying the rules and regulation of a supervisor. So right now, I'm just going through and trying to do my best by getting in the office and then taking care of my business once I get in.
Okay. Candidate Lucas, back to you.
Taxes are a necessary evil. We've got to have them. The main thing I would focus on is making sure that the taxpayers' money is being used appropriately and to benefit the whole county and the district in District 4. So with that said, I would like to make sure that I focus on how we're spending the money, what we're spending the money on, and are we putting the money where it's needed. Although a lot of times I think that we've got people that's working, they're not necessarily doing the job they need to do. So it's holding people accountable for doing what they are supposed to be doing when they're working and the taxpayer is paying their salary.
Okay, thank you. Candidate Selden, what about you?
My first joint venture will be try to figure out how we could possibly lower the taxes. In my line of work, I know the shortage is due to rooftops in the houses in the area, which put the bigger demand on people that build or want a decent house. Most of the time is refused because the taxes are so high. So I would try to work with people as opposed to trying to get the taxes down at affordable level because really we don't have the amenities that most cities have to be charged as much as we are charged. I don't know if that'll be an easy task, but that will be one of my goals, to try to level the playing field somewhat.
Thank you. Candidate Terry.
Yes, taxes are necessary. That's one of our sources of revenue that we have for the expenditures that we expend to operate the county. But my position on it, in order to lower the taxes, is there is an answer for it, and you have to grow your tax base. Currently, we are growing our tax base with the industry that's coming in. That's a plus. But we also have put in place a housing committee study to where we can get more rooftops here in Marshall County. And once we get the rooftops in, we get the jobs in, the people, instead of working here and moving outside the county, taking their dollars there, then we can grow our tax base and have more revenue to work with. That would be the answer to lowering the tax burden that's on the citizens today.
Thank you. Candidate Zen.
Well, I'm actually pro-tax raising. That's one of the last things I'd like to do. So in order to raise funds, I'd like for the county to come up with different ideas, like a builders program for electricians and hairdressers and so forth and so on. I don't know, maybe even a lottery, but whatever it takes, to keep from raising taxes is what I'd like to do.
Thank you, Candidate Payne. We so appreciate your eagerness, and I don't want you all to change name tags up there and confuse me, but thank you so much for that thorough answer. Candidate Zen.
Taxes, that's not something that's easy to swallow for most people, but as everybody said, it's a necessity, one thing about taxes, let me just explain. Sometimes it's a lack of understanding about taxes, and I think sometimes a little bit better explanation, would help people to swallow it or absorb it better. Sometimes people need to kind of realize that taxes is spread pretty widespread all over the county. Everybody want good law enforcement, taxes support. Everybody want school districts, good school system, taxes supported. All of your circuits, your chancery, the justice courts, everybody want those kind of services. And sometimes I feel if people, really understood, how the taxes is spent, sometimes they might, accept it just a little bit better. And I agree with basically everything else was said, that, there are some things putting in place to try to attract additional business and rooftops and everything that will spread it out over more people, therefore kind of lowering what my cost might be or your cost might be.
Thank you. And Candidate Jones.
First, I would just like to add that the taxes are one of the most important, duties and responsibilities of the Board of Supervisors. And with that being said, the taxes and other sources of county revenues account for the adoption of the county budget. And with that being said, I think people understand that they got to pay taxes, and I just think that's understood. I think people will be more eager to pay their taxes if they know where their tax dollars are going and how it's being spent. So a better understanding and more clarification on what the county is spending the tax dollars on would be something that I would like to focus on once I assume the position of Supervisor District 1.
Thank you. So Candidate Selden and Candidate Jones, you lead us into our next question. So thank you for that segue. If elected, what is the first issue you will address and how? So Candidate Selden, you talked about lowering taxes. Would you like to expound on that answer, or is that enough?
No. It's pretty much, I guess, like you're saying, everybody is on the same page as far as taxes concerned. And so, like you said, if you had the rooftop, the industries and everything are coming in, they get some type of incentive to some type of break or what have you. And most taxpayers are still bearing that burden right now. But over a period of time, when the tax revenue do come in, I do understand with the rooftops and all that, it would be somewhat flexible on the average person that don't understand. I also agree with the candidates that being a little bit more informed on what's going on, where your tax dollar going, will make it a little better for people. But when you get a bill, you don't pay your bill, and then next thing you know, your property being sold. Sometimes there's a lack of understanding. So being proactive in your area, being a supervisor that's in your area, mingling with your peoples, talking with the peoples, and don't just show up during election time, will help it as well.
Okay, thank you. And Candidate Jones, we'll go right back to you.
Okay, first I would just like to commend the current incumbents, as far as development goes with Chickasaw Trails up in the northern part of the county that's helping the county grow. And there's something that I would just, want to chime in on and to continue their progress. Also, we got to understand that education plays a very important role in development, because in order for industries to come into the county, and that's just as well as dealing with population, in order for people wanting to come live in Marshall, the first thing they look at is education. They look at our school systems, and industries want to make sure that we got competent individuals to do these jobs. And people that want to move into the county are looking, is this a great school system for my children to go to get a quality education? So education would be one of the things that I would first want to grasp hold of. But it's so many different things that you can do as far as the Board of Supervisors go. But, education will be primarily the number one things that I would like to take a focus on.
Thank you. And Candidate Jones, thank you for the commendation that you offered to those current incumbents, and we'll definitely have an opportunity to come back to that. So as we're thinking about that first issue that you will address and how, I would like to hear from candidate Lucas about that first issue that you'd address and how.
I would like to put it like this: when I take on a new job, I don't like to come in making immediate changes. One of the first things I would like to do is study and do research on what's already going on, what's already working and what may not be working, and then develop my ideas from that. But I've already forestated one of the first things as a District 4 supervisor I would like to work on in District 4 is getting the school district lines redrawn so that we can get our school system. And I want to one of the things that I would really want to look into, and I think that we've already got this bill passed for the lottery, and that lottery is in education and roads and bridges. That money will be allocated for that type thing. So school teacher raises. We can have all the schools we want, but if we can't get qualified school teachers here in this county, our education system is going to continue to suffer. So I would like to work with whomever I need to work with to try to make sure that our school teacher salaries is, they are pretty much comparable to schools that's around us.
Thank you, candidate Lucas. Candidate Warren.
Yes, most of the part about it is when they bring factories or whatever in, instead of we give them a tax break, we want to try to make sure that they, a way that they could give back to the community to help develop houses for teachers, help develop the schools, help to bring more activities in for the kids, get a donation back toward the community. We're going to give them a tax break. We'd like for them to try to give back to the community, not give away from our community. Bring stuff back to them, to give some kind of donation or whatever we have to do, but something to give back to the community, help the schools, help the teachers get here, because we have teachers that might have to drive from Oxford. They don't have a good place in Hot Springs to stay. So we like to have nice condos or something for the teachers to come in and base salary to get them a nice place here to stay.
Thank you. If re-elected, candidate Terry, what is the first issue you will address and how?
That is a broad question for being an incumbent and knowing what the situation of what's going on within the board now. I can't say there would be a first that I would address, but what I would like to address is to continue our housing research that we can have more rooftops. I was one of the initiators of the committee for the housing study, and in order for us to reduce our taxes, in order for us to increase our revenue that we're going to come in, that we can have the revenue to do the services that we've talked about and that we want to do, I think we need the rooftop. So I would like to continue focusing on that. I would like to see more houses being built. We go to some of our neighboring counties and you can pick a house like you go into the local store to shop for grocery. We need to have houses available and ready for the citizens when they get those jobs to better quality of life, that they don't have to go somewhere and search for a house. They can look here in Marshall County. So to continue the building program to try to get the rooftops is, I think, what I will continue to focus on, as I have continued to focus on it in the past.
Thank you. And to you, candidate Zinn, if re-elected.
Would you repeat that question, please?
Yes, sir. If re-elected, what is the first issue you will address and how?
There are so many issues that that's before the Board of Supervisors right now. It'd be hard to select or choose. One particular thing that's kind of dear to me is because most of us talking about education and acknowledging the role of education and all. I actually chair a committee that has embarked upon restoring an old Rosenwald school that happened to be in the district. And, I feel that, if that's done, that would bring so much education. It would bring history, and it would connect also with the present right now. I think that's something that the entire county could benefit from. It appears to be the only building that's actually standing right now and would take some help. This particular structure has been already registered with the Department of Archives and History and Historical Landmark. And so that's pretty dear to me, but I can't stop right there because there are many, many projects right now before the Board of Supervisors, so it'd be hard to call.
Okay, thank you. What about you, candidate Selden?
Well, repeat that question again now.
Yes, sir. If elected, what is the first issue you would address and how?
Well, as I said, when I basically got going with my platform, my main priority would be, I'm a H.W. Byers / Slanford graduate, and I see the needs of that school basically by being in the community. My first task would be to fight for the schools and get all of the amenities that the school need as possible within the realm of the power that the supervisor will have. But the school industry, like you said, is the most important thing because I did my own little study and survey, and I see that a lot of people are coming from Fayette County, Memphis, Caldwell, all of the local states in our area working, and then they're leaving and taking their tax dollars back somewhere else, leaving the burden on the people that stay in the county. So I would suggest, like many of us already said, try to do something to get the people to stay in Marshall County and work in Marshall County and live and pay taxes, which will help everybody else as they go along. So the school will be the most important thing because most people that are coming to these factories are people that are raising families. And the most important thing to people that are raising children these days is education. And if the education is not there, as Mr. Jones stated, you know, people's gonna have to work in these factories. So if you don't have anybody working in the factory that educated and qualified, they're gonna continue to leave out the county. So school would be my first priority.
Thank you so much. And candidate Payne.
Well, like Mr. Zen said, there's just so many issues out there, but the two that stuck in my mind the most was roads and hospitals. And roads stick in my mind the most over the two of them. Both of them are very important, but roads, I travel a lot, and one of the biggest impressions of the town make on me is the road system. I like well-paved roads, I like wide roads, and I like roads with sidewalks. And because everybody's not driving, and we got a lot of issues out, people putting roads and there's no sidewalks, and people have to walk in the road. We got bicycles in the road, we got horses in the road, and we got to get away from this. We need to be able to, if we're going to build a road, let's make sure we get people who are going to contract put a sidewalk in too. I'm a road man.
Thank you, candidate Payne. So as we said earlier, candidate Jones offered commendation for the current incumbents, and I'm sure they greatly appreciate those commendations. But let's push the envelope a little bit. So this question is for all of the candidates except the incumbents. What do you consider that is not working in the office under the current administration? In essence, why are you running? So what is not working that has caused you to say, I need to be in that position? Candidate Lucas.
But being a lifelong resident of Marshall County, and I too do a lot of traveling, and I look at the counties surrounding us, I'm looking at what we don't have. And it's something as simple. In Marshall County, there's no Walgreens in Marshall County. I bank with regions. There's no regions in Marshall County. There's no movie theater in Marshall County. There's not even a Goodwill store in Marshall County. There's a whole lot of things that's not in Marshall County that I believe somehow is getting past us, but the counties surrounding us are getting these things. And that's where I want to put in a lot of research and find out why does all these other counties have either one of all of a few things that I've already named, and we don't have it. There's got to be an answer somewhere, and I'm believing that what we don't know is what's hurting us. So again, I'm a research type person. I would like to get in this position because I believe there's not enough collaboration going on between the cities in Marshall County, the county, and the state. I just believe that we can work together. So one of the things that I plan to do is establish SPAs in every community, and what a SPA is a single point of accountability, and help each community develop teams that's going to represent their community and allow them to help create visions that I can come and work with them to whatever extent I can to get their visions and help them to make their communities attractive for new businesses as such. So that's something that I'm not seeing us bring in, seemingly the basic things that all of the community, all the counties around us have. And I could just go down the line. I've got a lot more examples, but I know the time is limited. And those are things that just baffle me, is why are we bringing up the rear with these basic things, especially in the entertainment field?
Thank you. Candidate Warren.
My biggest thing is just since I've been dealing with kids, you know, during the summer we don't have nothing for the kids. We don't have anything for them to do. Like right now, Park and Rec is down real low because we don't have no activity. After this month over with baseball, I coach baseball, Little League baseball. So after this month is over with, it's going to be a dry spell all the way through. So I think we have to put more into getting the kids recreation. If we go to Outer Branch, they got everything in Outer Branch. They got the Y, they got the sports, they got all that. But why we have to go all the way to Outer Branch and we can get develop it here? So my biggest thing is getting on supervisor, because the supervisor got the most power than anybody in the county. So if we put our hands together and draw the bridge up, you know, close the bridge up from DeSoto County, have to go to DeSoto County, we lose kids every year by going to DeSoto County. And I try my best to help right here by volunteering, 20 years of volunteering, just to try to keep our kids here. So the reason I'm trying to run for supervisor right now is most part about getting the kids here in Marshall County. It don't matter what school they go to, that's Marshall County, and try to keep them here. And then bringing teachers stronger here, good teachers. We don't want good teachers to stay here 3 years and then they have to leave because we don't have nowhere for them to stay. So my biggest point is to get the kids in the park and recreation of the park. If we get the park and recreation of the park, the kids will stay and everybody come, everybody stay. We'll get jobs here. And once you get jobs here, people will move in. And then they'll see that you got park and rec. Because all the branches, if they don't have park and rec there, there wouldn't be that many people there because they want somewhere for their kids to be. And that's here in Hot Spring too. They want somewhere where their kids can do park and rec. And that's not just one thing, not just basketball, it's baseball, football, and tennis and all that to make them go. So we got to have a strong park and rec and teacher building here.
Thank you so much, Candidate Warren. Candidate Jones.
Yes, first of all, to answer the question, why am I running for supervisor? For one, I hold this county near and dear to my heart. I'm a lifelong resident of Marshall County. I went to H.W. Byers for some time, finished up at Holly Springs High School, and as soon as I received my education from the University of Mississippi in 2015, I came right home and accepted a job as an educator at Holly Springs High School, where I'm currently employed. And I'm in a position of service. I'm serving the students' needs, and I'm also serving the needs of the people. So that's one of the main reasons that I'm running for supervisor. And just to touch on a couple of things, number one, the roads. It's just kind of funny to me that every time election time roll around, the roads will start being maintained, pavement, and extra things like that. Number two, ambulance. We don't even own and operate our own ambulance system. We have to wait until someone from DeSoto or a nearby county to come in to help our people, something that we should already have in place, because that's a duty of this board of supervisors. It's public health and the safety and the welfare of the citizens, so that's something that we need to get in place. Another thing, transparency. The meeting is during the weekday at 9 a.m., so if our citizens have issues or something that they want to address, they can't come to the meeting because they're at work. So this is another thing that needs to change in housing. I understand there's an ongoing research going on, with the county consultant Gary Anderson as far as housing go. But housing is something that got to get on the move ASAP. We got the industry coming in, but housing has to get going in Marshall County.
Thank you, Candidate Jones. Candidate Selvin.
The reason, basically, I want to run is I'm the president of the fire department, Sladen, Mount Pleasant, Early Grove. And my years of serving on that board give me the incentive to want to run to make a difference due to, like, say, for instance, they are allowed an allowance so much each year by the Board of Supervisors. Once you get that money basically barely be enough to pay your insurance for the year. And we have to basically sit there and do fundraisers and do everything to get the fire department the amenities they need to get the equipment for the peoples that go out and fight the fire and helping the peoples in the community. We do fundraisers and all type of events, cook-offs and all that to get the money we need. And as you said, with all of the industries and everything that's coming in at this point, if we have a major fire, we're in trouble. And so, as you said, I would like to see some full-time fire departments in, people that's there around the clock to assist people's in need as the need come before you. So I think they should be funded a little more, and maybe something I'm not seeing as a president of the fire department, not being as supervisor at this point, but I would like to see something of that nature be a little justifiable, a little dialogue or something on it to, as opposed to why they're funded the way they are.
Thank you. Candidate Payne.
Could you give me that question again, please?
Yes, absolutely. So when we talk about the commendations that Candidate Jones started out giving for the incumbents, we want to know from the candidates who decided to run what is not working under the current administration. Essentially, why are you running for office? What was not working to make you say, I want to run for that position?
Well, I grew up in this county, and I've seen things happened in this county that was possible when I was a child that's not possible now. And I think that because of that, we're going a little bit backward. I mean, we had a hospital that could deliver children and fix a cast on a broken arm, and things don't happen like that now. I seen a movie theater when I was 13 or 14 years old. I haven't seen that in this town in a long time. And I feel like, I can bring these issues up, and if elected, and together we put our heads together, and these things create also income for our community. If a movie theater, I mean, think about when you go to a movie theater, you have to go to Olive Branch or another county. You're going to pay to get in, $20. You're going to pay for something to eat, and that's going to be a few dollars. You're going to have to probably pay for gas coming back. All of this is income generated to another county. And if we could put these things in this county, at least the people in this county would be able to use them. And not only that, I think it would draw attractions from other counties. So that's what things I would like to do to implement things, make this county better. And it would also lower our need to raise taxes, because we'll be generating income by keeping our income in this county.
Thank you, Candidate Payne. So candidates, gentlemen, this next question, I will ask that you give a simple yes or no. And this question states, if elected, would you be supportive of removing the Mississippi State Confederate flag from the boardroom and in front of the courthouse? Candidate Terry. Yes or no, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Candidate Warren?
Yes.
Candidate Jones?
Yes.
Candidate Selvin?
Yes.
Candidate Payne?
No.
Candidate Zen?
Yes.
Candidate Lucas?
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. Now, for our next round of questioning, you each will have your own individual question, so no time to prepare. Each of you has a specific question to answer. And we will start with you, Candidate Warren. Tell us, in the role of supervisor, how does the county's tax levy work?
Well, that's the part that I'm gonna have to pick up on and learn more about, the tax levy, how it works. So right now, I'm kind of green on it, so I'll be honest with you, I have to go and study and learn more about it.
Okay, thank you. Candidate Jones, do you know the requirements of a county budget? Please be specific.
Yes, as I stated earlier, the ad valorem tax is one of the most important that consists of the county budget. Also, other sources of revenues, that the county or the board of supervisors decide on, and that they decide to operate in.
Okay, thank you. Candidate Payne, do you know the difference in a unit system and a beat system? If so, what are the differences, and which does Marshall County employ?
One more time, please.
Do you know the difference between a unit system and a beat system? If so, what are the differences, and which does Marshall County employ?
I'm sorry, I really can't answer that at the time.
Okay, thank you. Candidate Terry, what powers does an individual supervisor possess?
One vote.
One vote. Thank you. Candidate Zinn, what can the Board of Supervisors do to enhance economic development?
The Board of Supervisors can work with the Industrial Development Authority. They normally have representatives that represent them and their district on that Industrial Development Authority. And they go out front normally and entertain and communicate with industries, with commercial businesses, and they do report back to the Board of Supervisors, and they collaborate about incentive or whatever to attract these different businesses into your various counties.
Okay, thank you. Candidate Lucas, how do tax incentives operate?
I don't know at this point.
Okay, thank you. Candidate Selden, can a supervisor hire and fire county employees?
Yes.
Care to elaborate?
Well, basically, I would say kind of how I would operate my business. If you got an employee that is not doing their job sufficiently enough, and you're being paid the taxpayer dollars, when I ride around and see people sitting in a truck smoking cigarettes or laying on a shade tree or something, I would get upset because my tax dollars is paying him to sit there and lay there. So, yeah, I would fire.
Okay, thank you. So, gentlemen, we have two more questions that we will ask before you give your closing statements. And prior to those closing statements, President Lowe of the local branch of the NAACP will have a closing question as well. And with this question, I will just ask that if you would like to respond, please begin speaking, and once you begin speaking, you will have 2 minutes. So I won't call on you. This is totally voluntary. Do you consider yourself a politician?
Do we raise our hands or just start talking?
Just start talking. There you go.
I don't consider myself necessarily a politician. I am a servant. And that's what I have done and dedicated my life to ever since I was an adult. Now, sometimes I think we've made the name politician bad, and I don't think it's not necessarily bad, but because people, the way people view it, I'm not that person to be just as considered a politician. I really consider myself as a servant of the people.
Thank you.
Politician, first of all, is just a word, but people's perception of that word, over the years, over decades, they just kind of, redefined it themselves. I am a politician, but I'm a good politician.
Thank you.
I basically wouldn't consider myself a politician. I wouldn't really want that title. My main goal is to help, assist, and aid each and every individual in the county that's tax-paying or have had paid taxes, is to serve and help people as their needs.
Thank you.
Only way I could be a politician is it gonna deal with the community, serving the community. If that's what a politician is supposed to be, yes, I'll be a politician to serve my community, work hard for my community, work hard for my school, work hard for the people that paying taxes for Marshall County. If that considered for me to be a politician, I think, yeah, I'll be a politician for to do all that because I want to be a part of Marshall County beyond my life. So I like to be a politician for Marshall County. If I'm not, I will be.
Thank you, Candidate Warren.
I'll go.
Is it my turn?
Yes, I would consider myself a politician, sort of, but at the same point, I want to be the best politician I can be, and so I would learn as much as I can about the duties of a politician. So as a beginning politician, my job now, if elected, is to be able to learn what the duties are of a politician and be the best representative I can for the people in my district and for Marshall County.
Thank you.
Finally?
Sure.
Yes, that question is a simple one to answer. Once you sign your qualifying paper, you become a politician. The question is, what type of politician are you going to become? Are you going to become a politician that's just concerned about winning and not caring about the maintenance and concerns of the citizens, or are you going to become a politician that's about the governing body and about the business of the county? I would say I'm a politician that care about the governing body and the people of Marshall County. So yes, I am a politician. I'm a proven politician and a good one.
Thank you.
You know, somebody said that, you know, politicians have been given a bad name, and I guess that's so because, you know, you can get so much wound up in politics. But one thing I'm going to say, you know, politics is going to be about give and take and negotiating and you know, and trying to move the ball down the court. And you can only, in order to assist or help, as somebody else said, even your constituents, that's something you're going to end up having to do from time to time. So I would have to say, I mean, it sounds better to say you're a statesman, but I mean, really, if you're effective, you know, you're going to be a politician. You know?
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you all, gentlemen, for your responses. I know we said we would have two more before President Lowe, but I think that's a good note to transition on, and we'll ask President Lowe of the local NAACP branch to come forth with his question from the NAACP platform.
Good evening once again, gentlemen.
Good evening.
I want to thank all you
Good
for
evening.
coming out and being a part of our forum. First of all, I want to also salute you guys for running the race, for even participating in the democratic process. On behalf of the sponsors, the links, at Rush College, we're linked through friendship and connected through service. And Rush College being 100+ years of educated black folk. And it's a historical black college because we all know the premise of why we had to have a historical black college. Setting that foundation, a part of our NAACP platform, we are advocates for economic development in the black community. If elected or a part of y'all platform, when I heard y'all doing y'all opening statements, I heard no one mention economic development in the black community. And coming from that platform of the NAACP, what is, if not a part of your agenda, it should be a part of your agenda, but what would you guys tell the audience listening, the voters listening, will be your plans for economic development in the black community on the black side of the county? That's for all candidates, if we have time, moderator.
Yes. So I do, and we'll start back with you, Candidate Zen, when we talked about what can the Board of Supervisors do to enhance economic development. But as President Lowe, he wants to hear, the audience possibly wants to hear, and specifically in the black community, economic development. So we'll start with you, Candidate Zen.
Hey, that's a good question. That's a good question because actually I mentioned that I'm a businessman myself. Been in business for over 25 or 30 years. You know, I think sometimes education plays a role as far as economic development and moving and assisting and trying to help minority business and in black communities to move forward. Of course, you know, there's a side of this coin there that, you know, that talks about incentives that can be, you know, hashed out or whatever that might could help minority business. But I will say this, you know, being in office myself, and I think I heard Mr. Terry say the only control you got over there is one vote. And whether one vote can actually release or turn loose some kind of incentive that would go specifically to the black community, it might be just a little bit hard. But I feel this, I feel that if the community was involved and was motivated and played a serious role with whoever the elected official is, the possibilities of specifically putting dollars into black communities, I think would be a whole lot more likely, if I could say. But my thing would be, I would try to educate the businesses. I would try to educate the different communities about some things that they could possibly do to help pull themselves up, you know, by their bootstrings.
Thank you, Candidate Zen. Let's go over to incumbent candidate Terry. Again, what would you do as a Board of Supervisors if re-elected to enhance economic development specifically in the black community?
That's a tough question to ask because the first thing I ask as being a governing body over the county, where is the black community? I could see it being more effective within the municipality city limits if you were going to develop something there, revitalizing buildings and giving opportunities and grants for the black community or entrepreneurs to do something in that area. But I have to ask the question, where in the county is the black community? And as Mr. Zen said, it would be hard pressed for me as one vote and one body to say that we set aside some monies to develop something specifically in the community that we can't identify where that community is.
Thank you. Candidate Warren?
Yes, first off, we'll try to reach out with the kids, because I'm kid bound. With the black schools, I went to Coahoma Junior College, I went to Savannah State, all these black institutions. And they believe in helping the community. When out at Coahoma, they believe in helping Clarksdale. They go up, we had the football player to go up and get beef out and about. And so if we can get parents and everyone to just get out and about, even the stores here that donate certain things for the kids. You know, we have to get out and work. First of all, ain't nothing given. I got a little baseball team now with 12 kids on it, 12 black kids. And we won the Disney Dean baseball championship 2 years in a row. So if we get out and get put out hard to it and get the kids out with it and work and get the community behind us, the economic will come because people start donating, and then we won't have all this in our community. So Marshall County is our black community. It ain't just Hot Spring. His kids on the outside of Hot Spring that need help. So we got to put ourselves in a spot to help Marshall County. Not only Hot Spring, it's Marshall County. So, you know, we have Potts Camp, everything, but Marshall County black kids need help. And we need to get together and do it right. And we can get our community. The community will fall in. All we got to do is have somebody to lead. And I want to be a part of that leader from District 1, the leader group, and we'll help bring this together.
Thank you. Candidate Jones.
First of all, I would like to add that District 1 is probably the #1 district with the most low-income housing. And if we look at the demographics of the other area of District 1 and considering the low-income housing, maybe something percent, I'm sure, of those individuals that populate in those low-income housings black individuals. The steps I would take, well, first I would like to support and encourage black business and also compile resources. It's lots of grants out there and a lot of money is designated, just for minorities. So I would just like to begin just by compiling those resources and probably having an individual, in particular, just to compile those resources and, push them out to business owners. And the most we can do is support and encourage, and I just do, the best I can as far as from the economic development standpoint as Supervisor District 1 to, get more black-owned businesses and encourage, more people, more black people, to open business in the county.
Thank you. Candidate Lucas.
This is an area where, first of all, I would do my research and try to find the experts in economic development, especially for black communities. And this is where the IEE system comes in. I would be the one that get the people to the communities and mobilize the communities, get the people to the community to inform them and educate them. Education is power, knowledge is power. And no one person can do that, but I do believe that we have the people within our reach that can come into our communities and help educate our people on how to develop their areas. And first of all, one of the things I'll have to be working with our communities in doing is making our communities attractive to entrepreneurship and businesses, and especially trying to get our local people to start their own businesses, because we've got people that's very talented and gifted, and all they need is to know the right thing, and a whole lot of time it's just knowing the right people. By me being the supervisor and you paying me on a daily basis and I'm retired and that's all I would do, I would definitely put forth the effort to get the right people in the community to help educate our people about how to go about developing our areas economically, especially our black areas.
Thank you. Candidate Payne.
Well, economic development is a really wide range, and to me, economic development is anything that's beneficial to the community. That being said, I would say that bringing in professionals at any level would help develop our economy and make it better. So I would think like bringing in the doctors and nurses for hospitals so that we'll have healthy people in this area. And then next, I would think that the school system, a better education for our students, looking to entice children to people to want to put their children in our schools instead of people looking at other counties around us and thinking, well, the Fayette County is a better system, DeSoto County is a better system. We're in this county and we're spending tax dollars on these school systems, and we should do it more to make them beneficial and enticing for the parents and for the students. So those are the two main points that I would look at.
Thank you. Candidate Selden.
I guess basically what I would have to say based upon my own experience, I'm also a business owner and have been for 25 plus years. What I've done in my community is I always have a lot of kids and I take them to work with me. And what I do as far as educational wise, I build houses, I get blueprints, and I get the blueprint. If the child is interested and I see their interest, I answer every question they have. I allow them to get a tape measure and measure it and see what they're doing. And I have trained, I know at least 10 children have went on to Mississippi State as architecture engineers, heating and air, electrical, plumbing, and all of that. And that is what I would continue to do in the neighborhood. And being a supervisor will give me a little bit more effort to work more with kids that are eager to learn and want to learn. And then I just show them everything that I could possibly do. And most of the kids I say that work with me over the years, all of them have went on and they are doing real good now. So basically I will be hand in hand teaching them and showing them the best I can and encourage them to go to college. And all that I have dealt with have went to college, have went and graduated, and working professional jobs. So that would be my way of giving back, dealing with the kids and investing in the black community.
Thank you. Thank you all for your responses to that very important question. Well, we have reached the wrap-up portion of our debate, where we will now hear from each of the candidates in their closing remarks. Again, each of you will have 2 minutes to give your closing remarks, and we will begin in the same order as we did for the opening remarks. Starting with District 1, candidate Andre C. Jones.
First of all, I would just acknowledge everyone to just look at this panel. I'm the youngest individual on this panel. I ran for supervisor 4 years ago in 2015 as well, and I got you too young. Now I got 4 more years of aging, 4 more years of knowledge, and if every question that was answered tonight, I provided a competent answer to it. A competent answer. So I'm very knowledgeable of the roles and the powers and the responsibilities of a supervisor. Only thing I'm asking for is just an opportunity. That's it. Because at some point, the supervisors that are currently incumbents, they had 0 experience. And they was provided an opportunity in order to experience what it is to be like as far as to being a supervisor. And I'm asking for that same opportunity. Just give me a chance. I'm the representation that you deserve, and I say this with confidence. I'm the strongest candidate in District 1 that's going to be on the ballot. Vote Andre C. Jones August 6th as your next supervisor of District 1.
Thank you. Candidate Warren.
Yes, the first time I was kind of nervous, but we're in settled in now, so I think I'm a good candidate for Supervisor District 1 because I'm trustworthy. I will get out and work, and I'll get out and work without anyone needing help. If I feel like that I need to go on the road and pick up paper, I'll do that. If I feel like I just need to buck up and get on people that put a point to somebody to get on it. I don't have a lot of experience like Mr. John here, but I'm a hard-working man, and I don't think nobody can outwork me when I put my mind to it. So District 1 gonna need someone with a backbone, with a hard-working attitude, and I ain't talking nothing about Mr. Terry, but we need someone that gonna push the issue. And I'm trying my best to draw the bridge, the gap in between Hot Spring County and the city board, because I think we need to work together. We can never be one if we don't come together. So that's why I think I'm a good candidate for Hot Spring, and most often it will be a change done this year.
Thank you. Incumbent Charles Terry Sr.
Yes, thank you. I would like to commend the young men that are out here and put their name on the ballot. I think it's a nice thing for them to do. I just wish they had put it on with someone else. But you know, I think you've heard and you saw what we've talked about here tonight. And I think you can plainly see that experience makes a difference. Our young men talk about young ages, youthfulness, and different mindsets, so forth. I run with the philosophy that I'm old enough to be mature, but I'm young enough to have an open mind. And some of the ideas that they are talking about are good ideas, but this is not the time to change the tires to see if it make the car ride better. Holly Springs and Marshall County is on a move faster than it's ever been before. Marshall County is one of the fastest growing counties in the state. Since 2012, we've had over $815 million invested in this county. And those investments are not made because people think it's going to happen, they see that it's going to happen. And I think the experience that I can bring and will continue to bring to the board, you need to let it stay in place and vote for Charles Terry on August the 6th to be your supervisor for District 1. I have a proven record. It's a public record. You can review it. When I talked about commitment and dedication, I think of the 7 years and 5 months that I've been in office, I've only missed 2 meetings. We have seminars and trainings that we go to for a year. I've been to as many of those as I can go to. So I want to ask you, the citizens of District 1, to vote for Charles Terry to continue being your supervisor.
Thank you. And moving to District 2, again noting that the incumbent, Eddie Dixon, is not with us tonight. The candidates, Mr. Glenn Payne.
Yes. In closing, I would like to say that as a candidate, I would just like to have the opportunity to serve Marshall County District 2 as a supervisor. And one thing that I have that is, will actually to my advantage, I believe, is I'm committed, and that means I'm hardworking, I'm loyal, and I'm also honest. And I'm going to be committed to working for the people of this county. And I have a vision for this county. I want to see this county prosper. And I believe that some of my ideas will help this county prosper. I'm not trying to say that I'm better than anyone else or any more than anybody else, but I promise to work hard, and what I don't know about politics, I'm willing to learn. And I'm just asking the people to give me the opportunity. And I know that I will work hard to be a good supervisor for this district. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate John I. Selden, Sr.
I would like to add to the note that voting for John I. Selden, Senior Supervisor, District 2 would be a positive move. As far as infrastructure, my line of work every day is dealing with that same type of infrastructure, building and developing and so forth. I would like to level the playing fields in District 2. I don't like it to be with big eyes or little U. Everybody is somebody, and everybody needs to be on the same accord. I won't do more for one than I would do for the other one. I would treat everybody the same and be visual in the community, work with the peoples, and have an open door policy. Be the type of person, whenever you need me or you have a question that needs to be answered, feel free to answer. And if I don't have the answer like I do on my platform and campaign, I will find an answer. You wouldn't have to look for me. I'm not going to tell you just what you want to hear just to get you out of my face because I don't want to answer it. I'm going to tell you the truth. And if I don't have it, I will bring it back to you.
Thank you. We will move on from District 3 since the incumbent nor the candidate is here with us tonight to District 4, starting with candidate Marvin Lucas.
I would just like to add that I attended Galena Elementary School, I attended Henry High School, Junior High School, and I attended Bahia High School. I have a vested interest in the county as a whole. I've worked and served in this community all of my life, and especially all of my adult life. I worked in the churches primarily, but I've always worked as a public servant. And I would like to compliment Mr. Zinn here for the job that he's already done. But I want to take District 4 from being good to better to best. Because one of the things I believe in, our God is a God of excellence, and that's what he expects. And anything that I go to do, I put forth my best foot because I believe just that saying. And the things that we are needed to do, I think there's time for a change, not just to be changing. There's a time for a positive change, that people that's going to think outside of the box, because I've been told, and I've watched this down through the years, that more of the same just gets you more of the same. And we need something that's going to take us to the next level. In every area of a career in my life that I've been faced with or I've been put in, 40 years of supervisory and management experience incorporates a lot of experience that can help move District 4 in Marshall County forward. And then 15 years of military, and then working 5 years as a pastor, that gives me the type of experience I need to work with people and the diversity to work with anyone from the state level all the way down to the county level. And I'm asking the people to go to the polls on August the 6th and vote for Marvin Lucas, a change and a person that not only will work for you, but will work with you. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate Lucas. And the incumbent, Mr. George Zinn III.
Thank you very much. 15 years ago, when I was elected, I took office, people said that they wanted representation. And I went into that office day one, and I truly feel that I gave representation. I think that most people truly appreciates the things that I'm doing, have done, And I've done that now for 15 years. I know the ins and I know the outs. I know what can be done, what can't be done. I listened to some things right here this afternoon that was discussed that really was a little bit outside of the realm of what the supervisor will even be doing. But, you know, that's okay. I'm proud of the record. I'm proud of the accomplishment that has gone on or has happened since I've been in office. Marshall County just happened to be number 2 in economic development and growth right now in the entire state, right now. Marshall County has a assessed value right now of probably $333 million. Marshall County is not in the red. Marshall County has never been in the red. I've been a part of this. Marshall County has never had to borrow money to do any roads or to maintain any department inside of Marshall County. That's a plus. Most people are not aware of that. I'm saying today that for all of my constituents, all who support me, I am sure that they will continue to want to support ongoing progress. Now, at the end of the day, I think that everything that's said, I mean, it's okay. It's discussion. And sometimes discussion is always good, depending on, you know, given the proper time for it to do. I'm asking all of my constituents, all of my supporters who has followed me, supported me, and there are numerous things that I
Please wrap up,
have done and is doing presently right now in the community, and most people know most of the things that I've done. And it's not just in the boardroom on the first and the third Mondays, but I have a personal contact with people in the community, from feeding to educating to everything that's required to build a holistic community.
Thank you, Candidate Zinn. We do appreciate your closing remarks. So, with there being no representation from District 5, from the incumbent nor the candidate, there we have it, the closing remarks from the candidates. Voters, it is now your turn. The candidates for the position of Marshall County Board of Supervisors across 3 of the 5 districts have been heard here tonight. It's now up to you to exercise your right to vote. Please remember, the primary election day, as you have heard, is Tuesday, August 6th, 2019, and the general election day is Tuesday, November 5th, 2019. Remember also to take your photo ID to the polls. Coming to you live from Rust College, I am Dr. Tamala Boyd-Shaw, wishing you a pleasant evening. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.